Hello everybody, it's Tom Crennan back again, and you know it's getting serious because I've got my glasses on here. So I just want to jump into things here. This is advanced ICHRA systems, and it sounds very scary. I got to tell you, the ICHRA systems platform makes it very easy to do, and I think you'll really impress your clients with it's going to be one of the best analysis they'll ever see of their group. So anyway, I'm just going to jump into it. So advanced ICHRAs, how to create max savings for your employer and your employees. So it's really a win-win. So next one. So we're just going to go over some of the basics, and then I'll show you how the system works. So you've got affordability, which has to do with, there's two types of affordability. One is for groups over 50, full-time equivalent. They have to worry about the pay or play. And so if it's not affordable to the members, they get a penalty. And it turns out with ICHRAs, it's actually okay for the older people to be unaffordable because they can go to the exchange and get a better priced plan, and the employer will pay less than it would cost them to keep them on the group plan. So anyway, so we're just going to define affordability. So it's all done in the program, so don't worry about this stuff too much. But basically, you need to know the employee's gross household income. And there's some safe harbors for that. But the easiest one is just to use their W-2 income and make that an assumption. It could be higher than that because they might have a spouse that works on things. So the employer doesn't really know. And when you're calculating the penalty, all you can do is use the safe harbor. Probably the best one is W-2 on there. If you're figuring out whether they can go to the exchange and get an exchange plan, they can actually put in their gross income on. They know what it is, and then that can help them out. So anyway, you need to determine the employee's gross household income for that year. You need to multiply the gross income by the current affordability factor. It changes every year. For 2025, it's going to be 9.02%. So it's whatever they think their income is going to be for the year times 9.02% divided by 12 gives you their monthly income. And then the program actually goes out and finds the lowest cost silver plan for them at their age in their area and figures out what that is. And then basically, if the last part, once you figured out the lowest cost silver plan on the exchange, minus the employer contribution, whatever they're contributing for the employee, and if that's lower than 9.02% of the employee's monthly gross income, then the plan is affordable. Then they should be on the plan, that there is no penalty for the employer. If it's under that, then they could go to the exchange, and the employer might have a penalty, but it might be less than what they would pay to keep them on the plan. So anyway, affordability, it's all calculated in the program, so don't worry about it too much. The second thing that the program does is it figures out family glitch. And so family glitch is a situation in which maybe it's affordable for the employee to stay on the ICHRA, but the other family members would be better off on the exchange. And I'll show you how that works, but the simple answer is the program figures that out, and it will tell you when they enroll and they put in their family income, whatever it is, it'll let them know whether they can go to the exchange or not, and it'll even give them exchange quotes if they want to go that way. It'll also show the employer how much money they'll save if they're over 50. So anyway, that's what's going on with family glitch. We know on ICHRAs that basically anybody that qualifies for Medicare can go on Medicare, and the ICHRA can pay pretty much everything. They can pay Part A, Part B. If it's a Medicare Advantage plan that has a premium, they can pay that. They can pay for Medicare supplements, and they can use Part D drug cards. And then this is an advanced analysis for groups over 50. So the program figures out all the pay or play penalties. You put them in there. Employers can adjust their company contribution, and you can do that with them. It does not take much time. So that the older employees, if that's what they want to do with the group, the older employees could be better off going to the exchange and getting a tax credit plan if they don't make a whole lot of money. And it will actually save the employer a lot of money, because if they had to contribute enough to make that plan affordable for them, it's going to be way more than the cost of the penalty, which is about $350 a month. The pay or play penalty does not apply to groups under 50, so don't worry about that. And it can, I guess I'm repeating myself, makes sense for employees to go to the exchange if penalty is less than the cost of older employees. Okay. And the real reasoning, the kind of underlying behind that is that when you do traditional group policies, they have composite rates. So the young people and the old people have the same premium. When you do ICHRAs, they're all rated by age. So the premiums are cheaper for the younger people and they're more expensive for the older people. And that's why you can save a lot of money by having the older people go to the exchanges, is because their premiums are much higher than what the penalty would be. Okay. And I just want to say, ICHRA systems makes it simple. So I'm going to show you how it works, and you'll be amazed at how easy it is, basically, on that. So I'm going to see if we can jump into an actual case here. I wanted to point out to everybody, so this is ICHRAsystems.com. This is the main website for brokers. And this video here is going to be right here. So you can get and refresh yourself on this video. This is a video with Echo. So Echo is the way that you can pay for larger groups. If you have larger groups, you can pay for it through Echo. They will set up a credit card and or bank account for each separate person, and it's really slick. You can basically keep track of all your employees. You can turn them off when they leave. It just, when you get into those larger groups and you're trying to make sure everybody's on the policy and everybody's policy is getting paid, you can look at it. It actually sends you emails if something doesn't look right. It's a really great system, and for most people, depending on the mix of your group, it's going to be free or make you a little bit of money. So that's pretty cool. So that's what's going on with that. So that's the Echo system. This is the renewal system that I sent out just a little bit. This is really slick. It'll save you a ton of time. If you have existing groups on ICHRAs, just go ahead and look at this renewal system. It's in the form section. It's about the 4th button down. You click on the first button at the top. Well, you make sure the group's set up for 2025. You click on the 2024 button, then you click on the 2025 button, then it does an automatic renewal report for you. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we'll get back to what this video is about, advanced ICHRA systems. So that's what's going on. So let's look at a real group here. Well, it's a real artificial group. It's a real group we have. Let me go back up here. Okay. So here is Mom's Flower Shop, which is our kind of classic test group here on things. And I'm just going to show you how simple it is to do all this advanced ICHRA stuff. So for this group, we're just going to do it on the preliminary census. You can do it on the enrolled census, which you do for renewals. But anyway, the preliminary census, you can see we have 6 people here, which is nice. And of these 6 people, they're all set up and they all have actually their income based in there, which you do need to know what their income is in order to do affordability analysis on things. So you can guess at it with a W-2, or you can actually get it from them when they go through and enroll. So I've got the group set up. We do this preliminary cost estimate, and we're going to do it with the preliminary census, not the enrolled census, which you would do. In this case, they're covering employee-only coverage, and they're paying 70% of the lowest silver plan, which is generally considered pretty good. I'm digressing. I'm going to go back. If you look at this group up here, you can see that we adjusted the, if I'm smart enough to find it here. Oh, we didn't adjust it on this one. So this one here should be 9.02%. That's the actual affordability percent for this year. So let's do that as 9.02. It says it right here for you. And you just update that. So then when you do this analysis, it will come out right for you. Okay, so we'll come out down here. We'll do the preliminary cost analysis. We've got it set at 9.02. These guys are paying 70% of the lowest cost silver plan for the employee only. And we have the Part B penalty. This is how much the employers have to pay for groups over 50. You do not have to worry about that if it's not a group over 50. You hit the Analyze button. You can see this takes a little bit of time because there are a million calculations this thing does. This takes all the work out of it for you. It just makes it really simple for you to present to the employer and kind of do a very detailed analysis. So in this group, there's a bunch of little subtle things going on here that are helpful. So if you notice the first employee here, who's James Bond, he's age 64, and it just kind of lit him up in blue. It's just letting you know that, hey, keep an eye on him. He's actually going to go to Medicare. We should get him on Medicare, and it's going to save you a bunch of money. I mean, right now they're going to pay for his contribution will be $583. When he drops down to Medicare, they'll be, much less than that. So that'll be great. And then it points out that Donald Duck, the second employee, he actually is 68, so he is on Medicare. So instead of paying his regular amount, they're only going to have to pay $380 for him, which you can set and adjust what you want. But that would be everything. That would be Part A, Part B, and Medicare Supplement. That would be treating them very well. So it automatically analyzes and points it out in gold that, hey, you got somebody on Medicare, we can save a lot of money with Medicare. All right, then we have Bob Montrose, I call him, and he's in Montrose County, and he's kind of an average guy. He's 47 years old, and he only makes $45,000 a year. And it turns out that Montrose rates are more expensive than they are in Denver. So his contribution doesn't really cover everything to make it affordable. So he's actually better off going on the exchange, and he can get an exchange plan. I'll show you how that works. But he will, when he enrolls, it'll actually tell him, hey, you can go ahead and get an exchange plan. It'll actually save him a lot of money. It'll also save his spouse and children a bunch of money. And then you've got Frank Smith. He shows as being just fine. He makes $60,000 a year. In reality, when Frank Smith goes through, he's got a spouse on there. It'll tell him, this is an example of the family glitch. This one is an example of the ICHRA not being affordable. This is an example when he goes through of the family glitch, which doesn't really affect the employer, but it does give him the option for the spouse to be to go ahead on there. And then the very last one here is Sally Struthers. She is a little bit on the older side, 57, and she makes $30,000 a year, and she's also her plan is unaffordable, so she's better off going to the exchange. So even though it's a pretty generous contribution, 70%, everything actually looks quite good on this. So you come down here and you look at the maximum company exposure, which is $23.71. This is assuming everybody in the whole group doesn't go to the exchange and stays on there. So you can tell the employer this is going to be their maximum cost. It talks about, you know, how much it's going to cost for the employee's cost, which is $26.10. A bunch of that can be eliminated by them going to the exchange, and it gives you the total cost. And then it comes down here and it does a exposure. It does an overall analysis and it says if those two employees, which weren't super old, actually do go to the exchange, you're going to incur a penalty, and that penalty is going to be $725. But even with the cost of that penalty, the maximum exposure for the employer is going to be $23.19 versus $23.71. In this case, it's about break even, but it's way better for the employees. You'll see a lot of examples where you can adjust this, and when the employees are older on there, you'll see that, and make less money, you'll see that the overall savings for the group is crazy. So all on one page. In this analysis, it goes through and points out all the affordability things that are going on. The family glitch does not actually show up on this one because it doesn't affect the employer. But when the employee goes through and does it, I'm trying to remember which was the employee that had the family glitch. But if you go over here to the preliminary census, I think it was Frank Smith. And when he goes through and enrolls himself, he says he's making $60,000. He's got two people on there. And he goes through, and this is what he'll get to enroll for next year. And he'll look at things, and it will do a personal analysis for him. So let me see here. It comes back here and it says, based on the information provided, it looks like the plans here are considered affordable for the employee only and wouldn't qualify for a tax credit on the exchange. So he, as the employee, can't go to the exchange. But then it says, good news, it looks like your spouse or dependents can go to the exchange. And here's the cost if he goes for the employer. But what we're really saying is go ahead and take your spouse off of it. And so if you click this button here, it shows that the 59-year-old, which is him, comes off, but the spouse and the child stays on. And you click Get Quotes. And if you look at that, you can see here's all these quotes. The kid actually goes to CHIP, it turns out. And the spouse, you know, ends up with all these super reasonably priced quotes, which are going to be less than what he would have had to pay on the ICHRA there. So really advanced system. Lays it all out for the people. It's just a huge feature that you won't see on any other group policies. So hope that helps you. Go back and look at you know, ICHRA systems. If you want to review this video, it's going to be right here. And I hope you guys have a great renewal system. If you have any questions, just give us a call and we'll be happy to answer anything you got. You take care. Thanks so much.